we prefer that the players decide with the heart. We just show what we can provide to him, and at the end of the day, he took his time. He took a couple months to reflect and make the decision. And for us, it was great that he made that decision.
Well, Austin FC have a new man in charge. Last week, the club named Nico Estévez as their new head coach, replacing Josh Wolf. And he is no stranger to the Lone Star State. Estévez served as FC Dallas head coach for 2.5 seasons, leading them to the playoffs in those first 2 seasons. And right now, we are absolutely thrilled to welcome him to Morning Footy. Nico Estévez, I'm sure you didn't anticipate being interviewed by El Pibe and Rose Lavelle on this show, but here we are. Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween! You guys look amazing.
We had to go
That's
for it,
awesome.
you know. All right, well, talk to us about this new job with Austin. Obviously, you were with Dallas before. This is a Texas rival. What was it about this Austin FC job that you found so appealing and was the right fit for you?
Well, I think the call that I had with Rodo and explaining me the project, and when we went through the interview, and then we were knowing a little bit more what the plans from the club wanted, and then how also highly he spoke about the fan base, the club, what the culture is creating this club since the beginning. And then after, I always had good relation and have good relation with Josh and with other members of the Austin FC staff. And then they always have spoken very highly about the club, about the fan base. And I've been an opponent there. I've suffered that fan base, and also been with the U.S. men's national team playing and feeling that warm support from the fans. And I think that overall thing, it makes a very special place to coach, a very special place to work. And I'm looking forward, to start working.
Nico, we just did a segment on former players haunting their clubs or club prior to this in terms of players who had, bled for the club, and the next thing you know, they're playing against that club and score and maybe disappoint some of the fans. You have that opportunity because Austin knocked you out of the Western Conference semifinals, and now here you are joining Austin. What's that going to feel like when you're playing against a Dallas in these rivalry matches, since you've been on the other side? And this is another part of the question is, I know Austin has struggled in front of goal. Only 34 goals scored, right, out of the 30. And I think they're third worst in the entire league. How do you plan on injecting the attacking prowess of Austin for next season?
Well, I think it's always when you've been working and Charlie, about that, when you've been around a club and other fans and people, you know there is going to be a rivalry always. But you also have to respect the people that gave you opportunities, the people that trust on you in a moment that maybe no one trusted in you. And I think you can, and it's a good opportunity in sports for us as coaches, as players, to show that rivalry is awesome, is the best thing that can happen in soccer. But also we have to show that touch of respect in the moments. And this is what I'm going to try to do, because it's also a good example for young people, for my kids, for other people, that, okay, when we are on the field, we all want to win, and we're going to represent our club in the best way. We're going to fight every single time. But when the game finishes, we have respect for all the people that is involved in the different clubs that are around the world, And in the other hand, it's like, I think Austin did a really good job on the defensive side this year. It's true that sometimes when you focus in one side or the other, depending what you are doing well, the other part it lacks a little bit. But I think we have to analyze well what were the issues. Sometimes also it's related to players' momentum. There is players that have good season, then after they don't have a good season. And then for us, it's how we find the key the key spaces, the key ways to attack that are better for the qualities of the players that we have in the roster. And I think that is going to be the most important thing that we're going to do in the offseason is how we analyze the players that we have in the roster. What do we have? Speed. We have inside play. We have wide areas type of play. We are good in crosses. We have to analyze those in order to create a way where we can attack and also give that touch of freedom to the player in the last third to create something. We're in a very creative city like Austin, and then we want to introduce that to the players. Be creative, be yourself. Try to find something with a teammate, with a combination, with a 1v1 situation, something that it helps the team to be better in that side of the game.
Well, Nico, Austin FC is only a couple seasons away from going on a pretty deep playoff run in the MLS Cup playoffs and missing out this year and a disappointing season. How close do you think this roster is to being a playoff team and a team that can get back to, going on that deep postseason run?
Well, I think the first thing is I think it's a really good base because I know how good Josh worked and how all the work that he's done previously to this point, and I think there is a good base. I think on the roster side also there is a good base that the club has built, and when Rodo came, he identified some areas to improve, and I think in this summer he added some players that are going to bring more quality. And now it's about, what areas do we identify that the club has to improve in the roster? And I think Rodo already knows, and he's working on that. I just arrived. I'm just trying to get in track with all this. I'm still working with the USMNT national team. I was analyzing yesterday the game from Johnny against Atletico Madrid, that it was awesome. And it's about every window try to improve the team. I remember when I came to Dallas and I said the same, I think Lucci did a really good job, he set up a good base, and it was about, bringing the right players in the right spots and made us to be successful the next season. And overall, I think Rodo has a very clear idea of what the team needs. And then I'm looking forward, to see what the moves are going to be and start working with the players.
Nico, perfect segue into the U.S. Women's National Team. I'm curious on what your thoughts are in terms of the differences between Pochettino and Berhalter, especially at the start of both of their campaigns. But more importantly, I want to give you huge congratulations for getting Yunus Musa to commit to the U.S. What were those conversations like in those early stages? Because I know you were a coach at Valencia, and once he went to Valencia from Arsenal, you were able to get in contact with him and convince him that this would be the right path for him forward.
Well, I think it was a teamwork. It wasn't like me. I got the league. I got the lucky league because I know a lot of people in Valencia. And then in the moment that I got the league, I talked with Gregg, and then we start monitoring him. And we start watching their games. And then it was a moment where he got promoted to do the preseason with the first team. And then I told Gregg, Gregg, I think it could be a good moment now, because he Charlie and Gregg knows it. In the moment, like a young player jumps into a preseason of the first team, in most of the countries, is if he takes the opportunity, is gonna go forward. And this is what happened to Yunus. And I think Gregg was amazing because he did the right steps with the family, with with Yunus to explain the project, to invite him to know the project. And I think that approach, it helped him a lot. Obviously, we've been monitoring him throughout this time. I was meeting with him every week to see how his games went. I was explaining a little bit the context of Valencia. Valencia is a very, very amazing club, but it also has some tricks. The fans are very passionate. When things go well, they show the love. When things are not going that well, they also can show a little bit of they're mad at the players. And the media and the everything that are around. And I think for a young player like Yunus that was learning the language and was studying in Valencia, it was good to have someone that could help him to understand better those things. But I think it was a teamwork. And when he came to the camp that Gregg invited him to come, I remember in Wales, I think he was impressed about how professional the setup was, how the high performing team was, how the trainings were, also the age of the players in that group. It fit very well with him. The mood of the team, the way that guys like Weston, Timmy, all these guys are. I think it fit very well with him and everything, as I said, always a teamwork made that happen. And we were very happy that he made that decision. I don't think we had to convince him, to be honest, because we prefer that the players decide with the heart. We just show what we can provide to him. And at the end of the day, he took his time. He took a couple months to reflect and make the decision. And for us, it was great that he made that decision.
Yeah, it's great for us, too.
Yeah, really great for us. And I'm curious, you brought up scouting Johnny Cardoso. How do you see him fitting into the midfield when you have Yunus Musah, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams just getting back? What qualities does he have that maybe amplifies the midfield for the U.S.?
Well, I think Johnny, when we started scouting him at a young age in Brazil, we saw a lot of qualities. I think he's evolving very well. What you could see is that his physicality is different than players like Tyler Adams, like Yunus Musah, Weston McKennie. But what I can see from him playing in Spain is his tactical position is pretty good. Like his tactical awareness is very good. They defend more zonal, and then he's able to control more space with that. And then he has his one thing that I saw in his last game against Atletico Madrid is like his awareness to anticipate and to read plays to win balls has improved a lot. I think he's more like a positional type of central midfielder. Although he has the dynamic to move a little bit around, but he's more like he respects more his position. He knows he has to cover. There is a couple of plays that I clipped there that when the center back was leaving his position, he was coming inside to cover that position. There was interesting tactical tweaks that are going to be really good for the U.S. men's national team. With the ball, I saw him a little bit braver than other games, and then he made some really good passes forward. There is one that ended up in a 1v1 situation that his teammate missed. It was a really good pass, and I think these things are making him an interesting player because has a different profile to the others, and the coach can use different players in the different scenarios.
Amazing stuff. Nico Estévez, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Thank you for all of the intel. And I know you've got that deep connection to Valencia. Just want to say that all of our thoughts and hearts are with the people there and family, if you have it there. We really hope they're doing okay.